Namo Aditapha. Thanks so much for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This wonderful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I'm determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I'm determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. For Dharma lessons, we're now reading Abundant, Exalted, Immeasurable by Ajahn Pasanno, and we're in Chapter 1, Refuges and Precepts. The Dhamma is the teaching in a conventional sense, and also the underlying truth of existence. There are fundamental truths that we are able to realize, understand, and penetrate, and when those truths are seen and understood, and they have a transformative quality to them. The Buddha himself said that whether a Buddha arises in the world or not, there is still this underlying nature of things. All compounded things are impermanent and unsatisfactory. All dhammas, all things, are not self. It's helpful when a Buddha comes along and points it out, but this is also the underlying truth, the way things are. We can direct our attention to and realize these fundamental truths. The Sangha as a refuge on a conventional level consists of ordained people who have stepped out of the world and made a commitment to spiritual practice and training. Having these examples is a helpful tool. This is a monastic retreat in the sense of having the monastic Sangha here. We have our own particular perspectives. Some people find it useful, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. This is an opportunity to get a bit of the flavor of having ordained Sangha nearby. However, when the Buddha refers to Sangha outside of the conventional level, he's again pointing to qualities of the heart. In our morning chant, when we recollect Sangha, we say, Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho. The Sangha of the Blessed One's disciples are those who practice well. Ujjupatipanno. Practice directly, Nyayapatipanno. Practice for the overcoming of suffering, for understanding and knowledge, Samachipatipanno. Practice appropriately, with integrity. These are also the qualities of those who have entered into the fruition of the path, stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, and arhants. When we come together to practice in a retreat situation, we take on the 8 precepts for the duration of the retreat. There's a simplification that takes place, having the 8 precepts as a foundation. There's a very interesting discourse that the Buddha gave to Visakha, one of his foremost female disciples. He was praising the lay community's keeping of the lunar observance days once a week. In Pali, it's called the Upasata. Traditionally, lay people would take the 8 precepts in the morning and keep them for a day and a night. The way the Buddha described it is that the arhants, who are fully enlightened, live their whole lives not harming, not taking the life of any living creature. Lay people are able to live just like arhants for a day and a night, not taking the life of any living creature. Arhants live their whole lives not taking what is not given, not stealing, and committed to honesty. For a day and a night, you are able to live just like an enlightened being, refraining from taking that which is not given, and so on, through all the 8 precepts. This is basically how enlightened beings live. It's their hardwired structure. For us to gather for a week of practicing together is a very special opportunity. Sometimes there's not much reflection when we ask someone how a retreat went. They'll say, oh, my mind was all over the place. There was this ache and pain, there was this and there was that. Nobody says, well, I lived for a week in simplicity, living like the noble ones. It was great. It ends up being hopelessly enmeshed in me and my mind. It's no small thing to be able to say, I got this opportunity to live simply for this week. It was great. It has a wonderful effect. We are also doing it in an ideal heavenly world here, surrounded by a lovely forest. We have this opportunity to come and practice walking and sitting meditation together, having taken on the refuges and precepts. The theme is loving kindness, and I would encourage everybody to approach this whole time of practice together within this sphere of loving kindness. Use walking and sitting meditation to bring up the quality of kindness. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.